don't see the chemistry there. You know, maybe there's a conflict of personalities, which that makes no sense to me. One, I never ever once had an argument with this guy. I just listened. If he told me to do something, I listened to him and did it. Two, chemistry. Did you expect us to make out behind the counter? I don't really know what you were looking for. And the weirdest thing was, so he's telling me, look, here's your check. Good luck. You know, I'm sorry it didn't work out. As I'm walking, he's like, don't worry about it though, man. It wasn't you. I'll even give you a good reference and a recommendation if you want to put me down on your resume. And I'm thinking to myself, I haven't even been here a month. How do you know if I suck or not anyway? And on top of it, why would you give me a recommendation if you're letting me go? So, was it me? Now, it's funny, I called my father and told him, and he thinks that this store's not getting the business that he wanted, and he let me go because he'd rather keep the profits for himself. Because I'll tell you, man, my 2 paychecks from there weren't bad. So I was selling stuff. It wasn't that I wasn't doing my thing. Last week was terrible, but you know, there was like 2 customers that came through the door, but the few weeks before that, I did pretty good. I haven't even been there a month. I've had 2 paychecks from the place. So to me, it's weird. Like I was saying before, you're going to give, obviously I didn't suck for one, and 2, you don't even know if I suck or not because I haven't been there long enough. So, and you're going to give me a recommendation? You know what's funny is that I don't know if you guys watch The Archfiend, and I'm a fan of him. He's a very smart guy. I don't agree with everything he says, but there was one thing he said that it was kind of funny to me, and I was thinking about it driving home after I got let go. He's like, you know, people who are partners on YouTube who make a living off of it shouldn't rely on it because it's not steady pay and the internet's too volatile. I haven't had a job that was a good job since 2009. Okay, I've had these rinky-dink crap jobs that were fly-by-night. Okay, I've had a steadier quote-unquote career on YouTube. YouTube has been my safeguard. YouTube has been my safety net. When HP, because even though I was employed by them, when HP didn't have any work for me for like a week or 2, I was working on YouTube. That's where I was getting money from. I'm not making a lot of money from YouTube. When HP didn't have work, that's where I got paid from. When I had that other POS job where I worked a whopping 2 hours a day, that job was also per diem, and there were a lot of times I would call, because you had to call into work every day to see if there was work. There would be some times there wasn't work for a week. You know, technically I had 3 jobs at one point, but when I was at that joke of a job and didn't have work for a week because I would call every day and there wasn't enough work, where did I get a check from? It was from YouTube. Archfiend, I have to disagree with you, man. YouTube has been my steadiest job I've had since I worked IT at IBM. And what this made me realize is, man, I mean, obviously I'm going to still look for work, okay? You know, I'm a 31-year-old man. I have to. But I'm going 110% with this, with YouTube. It's, when I put more work in, I get more out of it. And it's, maybe this was a blessing in disguise to make me realize that. I'm agnostic. I'm not an uber religious person. I'm not an atheist because, you know, I'm not smart enough to know what's out there, but maybe this is a sign. This was a blessing in disguise, you know. The other thing is just go for what you want to do. Don't be afraid of what other people think. Don't be afraid to do something because there's no security in anything anymore, especially in this economy. There's no security in anything. You could have two PhDs and have 190 IQ, and it still doesn't mean you're going to be consistently employed for the rest of your life or become uber successful. Just go for what you want to do. And if there's any example of that, look what just happened to me. I thought I found something safe and secure, and I go into work not even after a month after I've been there and get let go, and was told I would get a recommendation from the guy who let me go. I've never had that happen in my life. So you're going to be seeing a lot of videos from me. Starting today, you'll see at least 2 after this one. And I'm going to make YouTube a huge focus. I ain't got shit else going on. So, and I'd rather be productive than sit around. You know, I should be a lot more angry than I am right now. I think I'm more shocked at the moment. I think it'll settle in later on. But I'm also not the kind of person who just sits around and sulks. I need to vent and be creative and constantly keep moving, because I could be dead and life could be a lot worse. So this is Rich of ReviewTechUSA. I hope this video, I know there's a lot of people out there going through the same thing. I hope this video gives you some solace and maybe some comfort to realize that you're not the only one. And just, if you have a talent, focus on that talent. I mean, I'm not saying don't pay your bills and do something to, you know, keep a roof over your head, but don't give up on what you really want to do. Have a good one. Skip it up and that up. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Rich of ReviewTechUSA, and damn, Nelson Mandela, you smell so good. So finally, some good news about the Wii U, and this is pretty epic stuff. According to reports coming from the Chicago Wii U experience, Batman Arkham City Armored Edition and Assassin's Creed 3 will run at native 1080p. Now, a bunch of news articles a while back confirmed the Wii U can do 1080p, but a lot of game demos have been in 720p. I mean, hell, technically the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 can output 1080p too, but most games are not in 1080p. Hell, a lot of games aren't in 720p on the current generation of consoles. Now keep in mind, this information is coming from Nintendo reps. This isn't coming from Steve, who told Todd, who told Frank, who told Billy, and then someone made a news article about it. This is coming right from Nintendo's mouth, or shall I say Nintendo employees. So this is actual legitimate intel we're getting about the Wii U here. So what's my take about Assassin's Creed 3 and Batman Arkham City being in native 1080p on the Wii U? I think it was expected, but it's awesome. I think it's fantastic that they're making good ports of these two games for the Wii U. They aren't just going to plop Xbox 360 code on a Wii U disc and just make a port of these games. Now, what's interesting too, if you remember a while back, I did a video stating that an Ubisoft employee leaked information that Assassin's Creed 3 for the Wii U was going to be in 1080p and run at 60 frames per second. But then another article came out saying that it was just a 15-year-old kid making up rumors. Now, hindsight being 2020, maybe it was an actual Ubisoft employee, or Ubisoft, people say it differently, making those claims. So maybe not only Assassin's Creed 3 will be in 1080p, it may run at 60 frames per second. That would be epic. It also puts to rest that Batman Arkham City for the Wii U will look worse than the PS3 and 360 versions. There was some ridiculous article a month back. They had like a still image from the Wii U version that some press people had, and then they had a still image of the PS3 version of Batman Arkham City right next to it. And this article was claiming that journalists were saying that the Wii U version of Batman Arkham City looked worse than the PlayStation 3 version. Substantially worse was the exact wording in the article. And to me, that was so ridiculous, because think about this. The worst case scenario for the Wii U version of Batman Arkham City is that it would look just like the 360 version if they just ported it over and added some extra features. Because I'm going to get ultra technical here. The 360 and the Wii U share something in common. Now, the Wii U's processor's faster, but they're both based on PowerPC architecture. Again, the GPU inside the 360 is a Radeon GPU, and the GPU, again, although it's much faster and more powerful, is also a Radeon GPU or graphics processor inside the Wii U. So if they really didn't give a crap about optimizing Batman Arkham City for the hardware, they would just take the 360 code of Batman Arkham City and just slap it on a Wii U disc. So it couldn't look any worse than the current generation of consoles. It would be impossible. They would have to put effort in to make the game look crappier. So anyway, guys, what's your take on this? Does this make you more excited for the Wii U, or are you still content with just getting these games for the current generation of consoles? I'll tell you, if Assassin's Creed 3 is in 1080p and running at 60 frames per second on the Wii U, that may very well be a system seller for me. And yes, I am the same guy who totally shit on Nintendo's E3 conference. And yes, PC fanboys, I know it's coming to the PC too. It would just be a good excuse to want to pick up the console, so shh. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe. And if you have an interesting news story you would like me to discuss, private message me in either G2P or YouTube, and if I use your news article, I will give you a shout out in the video and feature your channel in the description. Fun. Skip it up and that up. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Rich of ReviewTechUSA, and today we're going to be doing a really cool unboxing. Now, some of you may know, especially from back in my RLM audio days, I'm into music production, primarily producing hip-hop, and a record store opened up in my town. It's about 20 minutes away from me, and I was really psyched when I saw it. But then I thought to myself, there's always a catch when you go what's called digging through the crates, is that you never know what you're getting when you pick up a record. You may want to get a sample to use to make a hip-hop track, and they usually have turntables at these mom and pop record shops. Well, nowadays they're all mom and pop. There's no Sam Goody selling vinyl anymore, at least vinyl that you want to pick up. And you go in there and they'll have, maybe if they have a record player, the needle may be screwed up on it, or they won't have one at all, so you kind of just have to look at the record and be like, this might have a sample on it, and some places don't take returns, and it's just disastrous. So I really wanted to get a turntable again, and they do have portable turntables, but they're usually really blocky, and it's like, it looks like you're carrying around a suitcase, and I just didn't want to deal with any of that. So I'm like, all right, whatever, I'm not going to get back into it. But then it was weird, I swear to God, I came home that night and I saw a video on ThinkGeek, and this was the video. What they had is the Crosley portable USB turntable. Now, as you saw in the video, this thing is sleek, man. I haven't even opened up the box yet. This is a real, true unboxing. I haven't unboxed this yet. See that? This is the turntable. You'll see more of it as I take it out. I mean, this thing has USB on it, headphone out on it, line out on it. It has an FM transmitter, so you could, with the USB, you could digitally rip right from the vinyl. It plays 33s and 45s. It could still suck, but we're going to do an unboxing today to see how cool it looks, and hopefully it's just more than pretty. So anyway, let's crack this open, take a look around the box real quick. You could portable 2-speed turntable. That is so cool. Another thing's interesting. You want to know where they got the design for this from? This isn't as revolutionary as they want you to think. Let's go back to 1983 for a second. Sony had a vertical turntable back in 1983, I forgot the model number, I'll have it in the video once I edit this, that looked exactly like this, that stood up vertically, and it was a direct drive linear turntable, and the thing goes for like $1,000 now. But anyway, that's besides the point, but that's where they got the design for this from, and if Crosley, you say no, you're lying. But anyway, let's crack this open. Where do we get it? Okay, over here. If I get it in shot. Move my camera back. I know it's just kind of a makeshift unboxing video, but it's an unboxing video. It doesn't need to be Academy Award winning. Alright, so right up in front, you have your CD software for the USB, so you could rip digitally right from the USB port. I'm hoping I don't need this. I could do it right from SoundForge, because that's what I use to edit my audio. And you want to see one thing that's annoying? I actually got this from Amazon.com. No packing material in the box. Nothing. It just came in this. Thank God there's no, there was one small dent on it. There's no major dents. I hope this thing isn't damaged. Oh, okay. Look. Heavy duty foam. But still, man, put peanuts in here. Put, bubble wrap or something. But anyway. Alright, let's get the foam out. We have up on top here, have a USB cable, which I have 1,000 of those. It's nice they include it though. I don't really need it. Attention, AC adapter. Why is that? Why are they warning you like it's a nuclear weapon? Here is the software installation guide. I'm sure it isn't too challenging to install the software, as I almost knocked my camera off the table. Warning, AC adapter. Why are you warning me there's an AC adapter? Does it have like uranium in it or something? Cool, AC adapter. Now I think there's some people that reviewed this, unless they didn't pay attention to having an AC adapter in it, said this didn't come with an AC adapter. So maybe there's different models out there. I don't know, but it's an AC adapter. Not too exciting. Glad they included though, because that would have sucked if they did. I mean, I have universal adapters laying around, but there it is, AC adapter. Exciting. And the main event. Wow, this is really. It's pretty substantial actually. At first I thought it was light. This is the Crosley Revolution turntable. Let's take it out of the bag here. Let's step it forward there. Oh, it says open. There's a switch to open it. That's cute. Okay, wow. And there we go. This is the turntable. There is your needle right here. See, the platter is small, so the record. Now, a lot of purists are going to flip with this, and this is one of the things I've been seeing on the web. When you have a 33, I think I'm saying that right. If it's a 40, no, it's not a 45. A 33 is the larger record. When you have a 33, a lot of it hangs off. Okay, so people are like, it's going to warp the records. Honestly, if you're a vinyl purist, sit in a corner. You're not going to be buying this anyway. Okay. And to be honest with you, I got this because I'm going to sample records, so I'm not going to be using this all the time to listen to records on. But anyway, there is the 45 adapter, which also holds the stylus in place, or holds the turntable needle in place. Why can I not think of the name right now? That's pretty sad. Anyway, pop that back in, if I can. Take the plastic little sheath off the needle. Turntable arm, I couldn't think of it. Holds the turntable arm in place. Here is the cover for the needle. For the cartridge, turntable cartridge. Why does it look like that's not in place right? Okay, editing time. Okay, the cartridge and the needle are fine. Just wanted to check that. So that is so awesome. That's what the turntable looks like itself. It's so compact. That's so cool. Close it back up. So it looks super uber. Actually, no, wait. I'll close it back up. The needle hovers so far off there. People put this back on, but my thing with putting this plastic piece back on is if you slip and hit the needle, it's going to break it off. Just make sure you have the 45 adapter and it floats above the platter so you're not going to scratch the needle. I think that's actually safer, but that's just me. Anyway, let's look what's on top here. Have your power button. Have the speed of, so if you have a 33, you press it down. 45, it's lifted up. Have your volume here. Volume feels a little bit cheap, but if it works and it doesn't have any crackly noise on it, I'm fine with that. On the back here, have your USB out, your line out, so if you want to hook it up to your stereo or mini system or whatever you have, or if you want to record to an analog tape deck, because you really want to pretend it's still 1986, have your headphone out, your power input right there for your power adapter, and your open button, which, good thing I saw that. And it pops open kind of violently, but that's okay. On the bottom, hopefully that needle stays in, you have your compartment for 6 AA batteries, because this is actually a really, truly portable turntable. You can put 6 AA batteries in this beast, and it will play vinyl anywhere you go. So if you want to be really hip and trendy at your next family picnic, you could bring this with 6 AA's, and through the FM transmitter here, which you could turn on and off, you could play vinyl through your boombox. Once again, if you want to go a throwback to the 80s. So that's it, guys. This is the Crosley Revolution Ultra Portable Turntable, and I will be having a full review on this. I got to pick up some vinyl later in the week, and I will have a full review on this very soon. Hope you enjoyed this unboxing video. Make sure to rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe. Have a good one. I'm going to make a V Westlife style video today, meaning that no editing, off the cuff. If I stutter, go hibbity hoobita hobbita, it's going to be in there. Anyway, guys, what's up? Richard ReviewTechUSA, And ever since I mentioned I'm getting an SSD, I got a bunch of messages and comments below. What's the point of an SSD? Isn't it just a hard drive? What benefits will I get from it? Will I get a longer lasting, more substantial erection? Will I have a better sex life? Will I get women with an SSD? No, you will get none of those. But what you will get is better performance in your computer. So what is an SSD? An SSD basically is a solid state drive, meaning that it's made of flash memory. There's no moving parts in it. Like this hard drive here is my old hard drive. This is a conventional hard drive. So you have a motor, you have a platter that has all your data on it, and it has a head. And what it has to do is spin up the motor to 7,200 RPMs. The head has to access the data, and that's how a conventional hard drive works. Problem with conventional hard drives, they're not as fast as solid state, anywhere near it. They're susceptible, if I could say that word today, susceptible to shock. So if you have it in a laptop and the hard drive is accessing data in the laptop and you're walking around, you could actually damage the hard drive. That's how I make a lot of my money doing side jobs fixing computers, because the hard drive always die. They use more power, they're slower. I know I said that before, but these are outdated. When SSD solid state drives become larger, have more capacity, and are more affordable, rest in peace, these are going to go away. So people want, okay, Rich, great. You told me what a solid state drive is. You compared it to another drive. What's the difference in performance? Well, we're about to find that out right now. Now I'm going to grab my phone here. See, no editing. I can grab my phone, and I have a stopwatch app on here. Okay. More info. Go away. I don't care. Stopwatch. No, I don't want to buy anything from you. Okay. Anyway, I have my stopwatch ready to go, and I'm going to turn on my computer. I'm going to start the stopwatch when the Windows 7 logo starts spinning, not when my computer boots, because it has nothing to do with the boot time. Because you may have a different BIOS and a different motherboard, and that doesn't count. So, here we go. I will start it as soon as Windows comes up, which it comes up much quicker too. Before it even boots, it just comes up quicker with the solid state drive. Because remember, regular hard drives have to spin up to full speed before they can access data. I have a gigabyte motherboard. I love gigabyte. And action. All right, here we go. Now I have a bunch of, I have Skype, I have AOL Instant Messenger, I have Yahoo Messenger, I have Steam, I have Avast antivirus. Here we go. It's going on my main screen. Here's the logo. People stop it there, but I don't do that. And it's done. That's it. 27 seconds. I said 12. I counted from when Windows still got to the main, not the spinning logo, but the main screen. It still is like 13 seconds. So, as you see, this would have taken probably, let's be conservative, 2.5 minutes with this drive. I'm not kidding. And this drive's fine. I've tested it with Seagate. I ran a drive fitness test on it. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with the drive. It's just, it's outdated technology, man. You know, it's funny. There was a time that processors in computers were slow, and they used to be the bottleneck of conventional hard drives. Now, conventional hard drives are the bottlenecks of computers. It's amazing how technology changes and times change. Anyway, Richard, ReviewTechUSA. Now you know what the benefit of having a solid state drive is. Right now, my other hard drive would still be loading. I'm not kidding. Have a good one, guys. Out with the old and in with the new.
1002.
It's Rich from ReviewTechUSA. Yes, I'm alive. I have just been, I love my new job. It's very laid back, but I work 10-hour days there. I work from 10 in the morning till 8 at night, and which that's not a big deal. It's not a tiring job. It's just when I've been leaving work, I haven't been going right home. I've been going out with whatever friends, women, whatever. And by the time I get home, it's like midnight and I gotta go right to bed. I just physically have not had time to make a video. Yesterday was the first day I did, and honestly, I was exhausted, so I caught up on some sleep. and slept till 11 today. So today is my other day off, and I am installing a ADATA 120 gigabyte SSD as my boot drive. So I'm really excited about that and getting rid of this old friggin' dog. I'm going to put it in a external hard drive case enclosure. Just use it as a backup drive. I'll plop it on top of my desk. So anyway, I am alive. I'm going to finish installing this, re-image it, and put Windows 7 back on it, put my software back on it, and more than likely, I will have up an actual video tonight. And I have some interesting product I want to review. I got it as a birthday gift. It is a Crosley Revolution portable turntable. And it's not portable like it's smaller. It's a smaller vinyl turntable you plug it in. It's portable. Like you can run it on 6 AA batteries. I don't own it yet. It's getting delivered to me. And that's going to be a very interesting review. But yes, I'm alive. I didn't quit YouTube. I just have not had time to put up a video. Anyway, let me finish installing this. I will see you guys very soon. More than likely today I'll put up a video. Have a good one.
Skip it up and that up.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Rich of ReviewTechUSA, and these are Raging Man Titties. What you are looking at today is Golden Axe 3. I am playing this via the Sega Genesis Mega Drive collection that's available on Steam, and it's okay. It doesn't hold a candle up to the original Golden Axe. Hell, it doesn't hold a candle up to Golden Axe 2. The animations are very chunky, the hit detection's very crappy, there's a lot of cheap moves the enemies pull on you. I don't know, it's an okay game, but I'd rather play the original Golden Axe for the Sega Genesis. But if you want to give this a shot, it's available for a couple bucks on Steam, and hell, the collection comes with Revenge of Shinobi. So a bunch of you sent me articles on today's topic, but the first guy to do it was actually a buddy of mine through Facebook. I actually used to go to high school with him. His name's John, so shout out to John for being the first to send me an article on today's topic. Thank you, man, I appreciate it. So kids, are you ready for a new console?
Is it coming from Sony and Microsoft?
No.
Does it have like a 16-core processor, or does it have an 8-core processor that could do 16 threads of code, like simultaneously at the same time?
No.
Does it have an AMD 7950 in it so it has sweet graphics? I want those 4K visuals.
Duh, no.
Is it going to use Microsoft Smart Glass? It looks pretty amazing.
Oh, for Christ's sake, let me talk about it and I'll tell you. God. Anyway, the new console is called the Ouya. It's pronounced like Booyah without the B. The Ouya is not meant to be a competitor with the current generation of consoles. It's actually meant to be an alternative to them. Every game for the Ouya, for now, will be free to play, and later on developers could set their own prices for their games, like microtransactions or anything they want to do to make money. On top of all that, the console will only cost $99 US. The controller looks to be interesting as well. It features a lot of things we've come to expect: 2 analog sticks, a D-pad, 8 buttons, but it also comes with a touchpad. It's not going to be the size of the Wii U's, it's only going to be about 3.5 to 4 inches, but they implemented the touchpad to make the system compatible with a lot of Android games that are currently on the market. For a $99 console, the specs are actually pretty decent. It's going to include a Tegra 3 quad-core processor, 1GB of RAM, 8GB of internal flash storage, HDMI connection to the TV with support for up to 1080p HD, Wi-Fi 802.11bgn, Bluetooth LE 4.0, and 1 USB 2.0 port. So how the hell is this thing going to be so damn cheap? They're basing the operating system on Android, Ice Cream Sandwich to be specific. The Ouya is going to be a very open console, and they want people to hack it. You heard me right. So if you root the system, it's going to be very simple, and it's not going to void your warranty. I have to agree with IGN on this. The biggest issue I have with the system being so easily hackable is that it could allow people to cheat when they play multiplayer games. But on a positive note, allowing the system to be so easily tinkered with could allow for a lot of cool innovations and bright ideas coming from the independent development community. Even Minecraft developer Mohang is interested in the Ouya. Mohang wrote, "If Ouya delivers on the promise of being the first true open gaming platform that gives indie developers access to the living room gaming market, then yes, it's a great idea. We will follow the development of the Ouya and see how it resonates with gamers. I could see all current current Mohang games go on the platform if there's a demand for it. Okay, so just to give you an idea of how psyched people are for the Ouya, they just started a Kickstarter page today, and they had a goal of $950,000. They wanted to reach that by August 9th. They are already at $1,660,219. They've almost doubled their goal in a day. That's insane. Now, after I read this article, I looked at other articles on the web and saw people's comments on the Ouya, and everyone's like, oh, I don't want Angry Birds on my TV. It's just going to be for casual gamers. For everyone saying that, you don't understand the potential that this box has. First off, the Tegra 3 chipset can produce some pretty damn good looking graphics, okay? It's not going to be PC caliber visuals, but it's pretty damn close to current generation consoles. And the beauty of the Ouya is they're going to let anybody who wants to develop a game for it do so without licensing fees. Think of Ouya as the YouTube of the game development community, okay? How many people like me who are on YouTube, do you think ReviewTechUSA would have ever been on like CBS or CNN? No, I would have never gotten into mainstream media. But because of YouTube, I got a voice, and a lot of other people out there who are talented were given the chance to have their voice be heard because of YouTube. The Ouya is going to give independent developers a chance to have their software be sold around the world. And because it's an open platform, we're going to see more originality, more creativity. We're going to see games developed for the Ouya that would never be published or distributed by EA or Activision. So everyone who's sick of the same old games and getting sequel after sequel shoved down their throats should be in love with the system and what it's about. The games are going to be cheaper because most of the games are going to be by independent developers. There's going to be more variety, creativity, and originality, and games are going to be more affordable. You're not going to see $60 games and then have to pay for DLC on top of it. This system could be revolutionary, and I'm very excited for it, as you can hear. It's going to allow anyone to become a successful game developer if they really want to. It's going to allow fresh ideas to be put back on the table and not be so taboo. And most importantly, it's going to make gaming very affordable again, because ever since this current generation of consoles was released, gaming has got more and more expensive. So what's your take on the Ouya? Do you think this open platform-based console can be successful, or do you think it will be dead on arrival? Make sure to rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe, and if you have an interesting news story you would like me to discuss, private message me with a link on either G2P or YouTube, and if I use your news article, I will give you a shout out in the video and feature your channel in the description. Skip it up and that up. Team Deathmatch. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Rich of ReviewTechUSA, and Charles is in charge of my ass! So video game sales are expected to slide for the 7th straight month in a row. The MPD Group is expected to release its US gaming retail sales data for the month of June on Thursday, and Wedbush analyst Michael Pachter expects the news to be really bad. Pachter today sent a note to investors saying he expects US software sales to total just $305 million, down 34% from June 2011. The lackluster release lineup was the biggest culprit for the sales decline, according to Michael Pachter. Pokemon Conquest and Lego Batman 2 DC Superheroes were the month's biggest games, with late May's Ghost Recon Future Soldier also sitting near the top of the charts. However, there were some disappointments in June as well. Spec Ops The Line posted only modest sales, while Lollipop Chainsaw and Max Payne 3 both underperformed. NPD monthly software sales figures have dropped at least 20% every month this year. They haven't posted a positive month since November, when Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 helped push sales figures up 15% year over year. And here I'm directly quoting from Michael Pachter. This is what he wrote to investors. In this unprecedented 8th year of the console cycle, we believe there are few intellectual properties to reinvigorate interest in the game sector. Consumers have been offered a never-ending series of sequels, and have been offered fewer choices each year for the last several years, with the result being waning interest in new software purchases and an unprecedented 3 years of software sales declines. The poster children for limiting consumer choice are Activision, Electronic Arts, and THQ, with each company offering 50% as many titles as they offered several years ago, with only one new intellectual property launched among the 3 companies over the last year. Look, I have to agree with Michael Pachter pretty much on everything he says in this article. The only thing I'll say, it seems like he was hinting that the dated hardware is the biggest biggest issue for games not being fresh and innovative? Look, you can innovate with the current generation of consoles. You don't need games to be 60 frames per second at 1080p to innovate. Come on. But the dude is right. All developers and publishers are giving us is sequels. Think about it. Max Payne 3, Uncharted 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, Gears of War 3, Mass Effect 3. It's all the same recycled shit over and over again, and if you combine that with the fact that the economy still sucks and people don't have as much expendable cash as they used to, it's a recipe for disaster. And we're seeing the effects of that right now with game sales sliding every month. To the game developers and publishers, look, I get it. It's risky to start a new IP. You need to sell a certain amount of units for the game to be profitable, and you're afraid to do it because you're afraid you won't make a profit. That's the bottom line. It's a very dangerous thing financially to try a new IP and put it out in the market. But if you keep, quote unquote, playing it safe like this and keep recycling the same crap over and over again, we're going to see another video game crash, without a doubt. So you better start innovating and coming up with fresh ideas, or the video game industry is going to go to absolute shit. It's happening right now as we speak. So what's your take on this? Do you agree with Michael Pachter and I that the video game industry is in trouble due to the lack of innovation? Or are you happy with the current state of the gaming industry and the software developers are releasing? Make sure to rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe. And if you have a news story you would like me to discuss, private message me with a link on either G2P or YouTube, and if I use your news article, I will give you a shout out in the video and feature your YouTube channel in the description. And now a shining moment with the Call of Duty community.
He has more than one, by the way. His father is actually his mother. He has two genitalia.
Call of Duty, bringing the brightest minds around the world together since 2003. What's going on, guys? I'm back. Long work week. I have been working like a dog. As soon as I get home, all I have time to do is go to bed. That's where I've been this past week, and I've been going out and running errands and having a social life. I just have not been home. But ReviewTechUSA is back, but I've been getting a lot of questions from people. A lot of people have been asking me about the AMD Phenom 2 1045T. Is it worth it? Was it a worthwhile upgrade? Now, for gaming, if you're looking at this processor solely for gaming, unless you're coming from like a very old like dual-core Intel or AMD CPU, I wouldn't get this processor if you're only worried about gaming. I would get a really fast quad-core, or hell, even get a dual-core which could handle 2 threads of code at once, like some of the upper-end i3s can actually do multi-threading. But if you're into, like, obviously I game on my PC, but I'm more so into doing, like, you know, video editing and, you know, productivity work, the 1045T is hands down the best processor you can buy right now for the price. Okay, I'm not saying it's the best processor out there. Don't misquote me. I know Intel's newest offerings and even their Sandy Bridge offerings outperform AMD's top-of-the-line stuff. But for $99, look what I'm doing right now. I have an HD video playing from DSP Gaming. I have a 1080p rip of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World playing. I have a 720p rip of Black Swan playing. I have an HD video rendering. I'm re-rendering just to demonstrate this. I'm re-rendering one of my old videos all at once. And there is no stuttering with either of these videos. Now, when I had my quad-core CPU, it could do this. But when I actually did the same exact test, I wish I saved it. I didn't film it. These two videos would be choppy. With doing all this, it would be choppy up here. Like every 15 seconds, you would see it would stutter each of these videos. So this is what this processor is worth for. I have an HD video from YouTube running. I'm rendering a video in Vegas. I'm playing one 1080p movie, and I'm playing one 720p movie all at once. And I'm actually only using, at this moment, it was just at 76, around 80% to 85% of my CPU, which it better be that much for how much is going on this screen. So $99 6-core CPU, this is what it's capable of. If you're on the fence about it and you're looking to get a good productivity machine for a dirt cheap price and you're looking to build your own computer, I cannot recommend this processor enough. I'm so glad I got this CPU. Once again, it's not for gaming, but for productivity reasons, you can't beat it for the dollar. Anyway, guys, I'll have a news story up around 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. Have a good one. ReviewTechUSA is back. If I could talk today, have a good one. What's going on, you sexy people? Rich of ReviewTechUSA. And finally, I had time to install the PC parts I got. And I'll show you what I installed for people who didn't watch my other videos or didn't see them or are new to ReviewTechUSA. I installed a 6-core AMD Phenom 2 1045T processor. You're seeing a that's not the new processor. That's my old quad-core AMD Phenom 2 X4 970 processor in there. I installed 16 gigabytes of RAM. It's Patriot RAM running at 1600 megahertz. And I installed this beauty. This is a 3 terabyte Barracuda SATA hard drive. So now I have 3 terabytes of storage. So it was pretty easy to do. RAM, if you can install a Nintendo cartridge in a Nintendo, you can install RAM processor. Now you're wondering why. Here's this fan. That was the Evo fan I bought. I did a video on that a while back. I just was lazy and didn't want to take out the motherboard. You have to take out the motherboard to install that fan. And I just don't want to do it now. I mean, I'm going to keep it because either I'll put it on here or when I, maybe in the next year and a half or year, if I go over to Intel, I'll put it on that. But this is fine. I mean, this has heat pipes on it. Even though it's a stock cooler, the fan's a little noisy when it speeds up because it's a small fan. That's how they move a lot of air, but I'll keep this on there. I just didn't feel like ripping this whole goddamn thing apart just to put that fan on there. I mean, I'm not even sure I'm going to be overclocking, so whatever. That's fine for now. I'll give you a little tour around of my machine too. And there you have the hard drives over there. It looks like a hard drive. It's not what it looks like, it's how much it stores. Keep in mind though, you may have a tough, say you're still running XP or Vista and you want to buy a big drive like that. You may have an issue with it recognizing more than 2 terabytes. Windows 7 will, no problem, and obviously Windows 8 will, but if you have an older machine, you may have an issue recognizing more than 2 terabytes. Just keep that in mind. Give you a tour around my computer. Yes, my cable management is not that great, but I have them all tied up to keep them away from the fan blades, and I have no heat problems in this case, so I really don't care. I don't want to put all the wires behind the case, and if I have to take something out, you have to do all this crap to unplug it. It works for me. The case stays nice and cool, and if I want to unplug something and upgrade a part or replace a part, it makes it easier. But like I said, I'll give you a tour around. There's the 6-core processor being cooled right now. I'm testing out the memory. I'm running mem test. I want to make sure all the memory is good before I put this machine back where I work. You know, I'm going to run mem test in Prime 95 to make sure the processor is stable. It's something you should do. You should run mem test to check your memory, and you should run Prime 95. You should always run a test on whatever hardware that you get. If you have, a new video card, you should run Furmark, and you should run, what the hell is the other software? I can't think of it right now. ATI tool to make sure there's no artifacts. So if you get a new piece of hardware, test it. The last thing, of course, I get a text. The last thing you want to do is find out your hardware is defective at 31 days after you ordered it, when you could find out right away and just get a quick replacement from where you ordered it from. Now you have to go through a whole RMA process through the company that makes the product, and it's long and tedious, and you're stuck with a dead PC for a while until your part gets replaced for you. So just test your stuff when you get new stuff. Give you a tour around my machine. I have a gigabyte motherboard, not too sure of the model. It's a mid-range. It was a really good mid-range motherboard back in 2010, late 2010. I'm not a fan of doing SLI, so I opted out to save me about $40 on the motherboard. I'd rather just have one big beefy video card, which I love that GTX 570. Obviously now with the 600 series PCI.
Maybe you're not wondering what they look like. Maybe you're also wondering, pop open, you can put them in your mouth.
Express 3.0 compatible card from NVIDIA. This thing is, a flash in the pan. It's old news, but still runs games beautifully. What else do I have in here? I have 5 terabytes total of storage. I have a 750 watt power supply. Yes, it's not 80 plus certified and it's not modular, but it's a good one. It does the job. And that's pretty much it. So this is my machine. I'm happy with it. I'm going to keep this probably for about another year. Then probably switch over to Intel. Yeah, I know that Intel blows away AMD in every category, but this does the job for me, and I couldn't pass up a 6-core processor for $99. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed a tour of my very messy rig. It works though. And if you have any questions, let me know. Have a good one. I'll have a news story up tomorrow. Oh yeah, by the way, the reason why I haven't put up 2 stories a day, I said I was going to post 2 videos a day, I should say. The reason why, I got a full-time job like 2 days after I said that. I didn't see that coming. There's no way I could post 2 videos a day and work full-time. So I will try to get up 1 video a day though, but 2 videos ain't happening unless I could split myself in 2, which I don't see that happening either. Anyway, I'll shut up now. Have a good one. Hope you enjoyed this video. Skip it up and that up. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Rich of ReviewTechUSA, and you may have 2 women, but I have 2 nipples. This is the original Fear for the PlayStation 3, and the verdict is that it's barely playable compared to the 360 and PC versions. The good things about it, which is very little, is that the frame rate is smoother than the 360 version, at least from what I've seen, and the controls feel a little bit better than the 360 version. Beyond that, everything else sucks. The audio is glitchy, the visuals are very murky and blurry, and there are more gameplay bugs than I could count, and I haven't even finished the game yet on the PS3. If you want to play Fear, play it for the PC, but if you don't have a PC, play it for the 360. And if you don't have a 360, then don't play Fear. This version of it's terrible. So today's gaming news is brought to you by Black Bond and Demir MK. They basically both sent me news articles on the same topic, like within seconds of each other, so I'm going to give both a shout out today. You could check out their YouTube channels by clicking the links in the description below. So does Sony's acquisition of Gaikai mean that they are leaving the console race to go over solely to cloud gaming? In case you didn't know, Sony purchased Gaikai for $380 million. Gaikai is a cloud gaming service similar to OnLive. Now, Sony's acquisition of Gaikai is peculiar because a few months back, Nania Reeves told the media that one of the major hardware competitors is going to leave the console race. And now with Sony purchasing the exact company that made this statement, it has a lot of people curious about Sony's future. Well, I'm going to say 2 things. One, unfortunately, I have a lot of reservations about cloud gaming, but I have a very strong feeling that everything is going to go towards cloud gaming. The days of conventional consoles are numbered. Do I want it to be that way? No, because I think cloud gaming puts the consumer at a huge disadvantage, but with that leaked document from Microsoft talking about cloud gaming and Sony purchasing Gaikai, the writing is on the wall. Cloud gaming more than likely is the future, whether we want it to be or not, so get ready. The second thing I will say is that no company at this point in time can release a cloud-only console or cloud-only service. There still has to be a conventional PS4, there still has to be a conventional Xbox 720, and we know the Wii U is a conventional console. The internet around the world is not fast enough yet to handle cloud gaming. And on top of it, certain internet providers around the world place bandwidth caps on their customers. So if Sony or Microsoft came out with a cloud-only console, it would totally alienate a huge consumer base, because if a customer has a cap on their internet bandwidth, they're not going to be able to play games anytime they want to. And streaming audio, video, and data over the internet all at once sucks up internet bandwidth. So now is not the time to release a cloud-only console. It would fail miserably. I know OnLive and other services do exist, but Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo need to do much bigger numbers than those smaller companies to be successful. And a cloud-only gaming console will not provide that at this point in time. 5 years maybe, but not yet. They still need to produce conventional hardware, so relax. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, what's your take on it? Do you think a cloud-only gaming console from Sony, Microsoft, or Nintendo would be successful at this point in time? Or do you agree with my line of thinking and feel a conventional console is still required for a few more years? Make sure to rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe, and if you have an interesting news story you would like me to discuss, private message me with a link on either G2P or YouTube, and if I use your article, I will give you a shout out in the video and feature your YouTube channel in the description. Skip it up and that up. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Rich of ReviewTechUSA, and make sure you stay tuned for our feature presentation, Good Night Vagina. The bane of the angry video game nerd's existence is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Mine is Athena. It was a platformer that came out in the arcades in 1986 and was later ported to the NES. Both versions are horrible. They have terrible controls and they are unforgiving. I am in the very near future going to do a very angry review on this game. As a matter of fact, I wanted to do a review on this game before I even knew what YouTube was. Hindsight being 2020, that probably would have been a very good idea. Anyway, on to today's news. So Nintendo CEO Satoru Iwata promises to make sure the Wii U is priced reasonably. He goes on to say that Nintendo won't make the same mistake that they did with the 3DS. You remember what happened with the 3DS. It launched last March at $250. Sales were good in the beginning, then they took a nosedive. And when they took that nosedive, Nintendo took action and dropped the price of the 3DS down to $170, and sales started to surge again. And according to Iwata, they fixed the 3DS profitability issue and pledged to turn profitable by the end of this fiscal year. That's very good news. Earlier this month, analyst Michael Pachter said the Wii U must sell for under $300 at launch, noting an optimal price for Nintendo's next-gen system will be $250, which he's smoking crack. A brand new system is not going to launch and be cheaper than the current generation consoles, the PS3 and 360. Okay, Super Nintendo, you learned your lesson from the 3DS. You're not going to launch the Wii U at an astronomically high price. Why it took the 3DS to learn that is beyond me. You should have learned from, I don't know, the 3DO back in the mid-90s, but okay, you finally learned. Good for you. I give you a golf clap. But stop with the charades. Just let us know the goddamn price of the console. Stop with these games. No pun intended. And there was no pun intended as well with the Super Nintendo reference before. That came out accidentally. I swear. Shut up. Whatever. Point being is that it's approximately 5 months away from the launch of the Wii. Skip it up and that up. There was an article I was looking at. If you want to read the article, it'll be in below. 4 is going to be 20 computer. It would be the perfect time, if you're actually going to launch the Wii U at an affordable price, to let people know. It'll get them hyped up for the Wii U. It'll get them excited, saying, wow, I can afford Nintendo's next-gen system. Now I'm really psyched for it. But you don't get it. Think. Even people like me, who you totally disappointed with your E3 2012 conference, might think about getting the Wii U if you let us know the price. I know you can't still be debating what the price of the Wii U is so close to launch. Come on. Anyway, folks, what's your take on this? Is Nintendo frustrating you by them not releasing the price of the Wii U? Will you still get the console if it's at a $400+ US price point? And before everyone jumps on me, yes, I know they did this with the 3DS as well. They did not release the price point of the 3DS until the last minute. That worked out great for them, didn't it? No, it didn't. So they should change their strategy and release the price point of their next-gen system. Alright, folks, this is Rich signing out. Make sure to rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe. And if you have an interesting news story you would like me to discuss, private message me with a link on either G2PO or YouTube. And if I use your article, I will give you a shout out in the video and feature your YouTube channel in the description. Skip it up and that up. Wait, what's going on here? No intro joke? No news story? Yeah, there was nothing interesting in the news today. I mean, people sent me more articles on, you know, the Wii U versus the PS4 and Xbox 720, and I've just beaten that topic to death. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate the links. I don't want you guys to think that I'm just brushing them off, but I read them and it's the same stuff that I've talked about time and time again. So thank you, I appreciate it, keep them coming, but it's just I've beaten the whole Wii U versus next gen versus current gen topic to death. But once again, thank you so much. Today's video is actually going to be a response to Mark Vergier and Lawn Boys Post 1975. I'll have links to both of their channels below in the description. And the topic, the video they made, was on gaming as an adult versus gaming as a kid, or childhood versus adulthood video gaming. How does it feel? Do you get the same excitement, and do you enjoy gaming as much as an adult as you did as a kid? And it's such an interesting topic because there's just so many levels and layers to discuss with it. Now, the short answer is no. It's a different feeling now. Now, do I enjoy gaming? Obviously, I have a YouTube channel that is basically a part-time job that is all about tech and gaming. So obviously, I still have a passion for gaming. But the feeling has changed. Let me give you an example. I'm sure a lot of you who are my age, I'm 30, can relate to this. Remember being a kid and you would go to the game store with your parents and you would see all the boxes of NES games and Sega Master System games. I was like 7 or 8, I'm thinking to right now. You would see all the boxes behind the counter and you would just be like, oh my god, what game am I going to pick? What game am I going to pick? And you would get the game you wanted, and you would be in the car, and the adrenaline was like pumping through your veins. You would be looking at the back of the box at the screen captures and be like, oh, that looks so awesome. Then you look at the front of the box and hope that the game is close to the artwork.
Money shoved up your ass, you know. Take your Wii U and put it between your eyes, but you just in the
artwork, looks like. Then you try to, if you were 6 or 7, you could read a little bit. You try to read the description and wrap your mind around whatever little you can read. And man, you would go home, you would tear ass up to your system, your NES or whatever it was. You would pop that game in as fast as possible, and it was like you couldn't wait to turn that system on. And if it was during a weekend, just like James Rolfe, the Angry Video Game Nerd, said, that game was your weekend. That game was like, yeah, you would go out with your friends, like you would go play catch or whatever outside, or go outside and play, but rainy weekend, your parents got you a video game, whether it was a rental or a purchase, that was your weekend, man, and that was your world, and that feeling of excitement and adrenaline, yeah, that's gone. Like, perfect example, let's fast forward now, that was in the 80s, early 90s, let's fast forward now to me in 2012. I picked up Max Payne 3. I played it for an hour of the day I got it. I barely had the energy to play it, and then I picked it up again about a month later. Would the 9, 10, or 11-year-old me do that? Hell no, I would have beaten the game probably like 4 different ways by now. That's the difference between childhood and adult gaming, for me at least. Now, what the hell makes that happen? What makes that excitement, adrenaline, and euphoria go away with gaming? Well, like Mark said in his video response, is that your world becomes a lot bigger. You've gone through life, you've gone through high school and college, you've dated, you've played sports, you've traveled, you've had tragedies happen in your life, you've had successes in your life, you've just experienced life as a whole. And small things like that when you were a kid were huge because you didn't experience that much yet, everything was new. But as you become an adult, small things like that become exactly what they should be. They're small. It's like, okay, yeah, cool. I got, Max Payne, or, I just picked up Red Dead Redemption, the Game of the Year edition. Listen to me. Edition. And, I still have it in the cellophane. It's not that I'm not going to enjoy it and open it up, but, other things happen in life. I had a ton of work.
Sexy Coco, the realest. It's Sexy Coco, man.
Work to do. I have, I'm not going to sit down and play a video game all day instead of do my work for HP or work on a YouTube video. Your life expands, and you just have so much more going on, and there's so many more things going through your head. And like I said before, as a kid, you don't have to worry about getting up and doing work and running errands, and especially as a young kid. Maybe as you get a preteen and teenager, your parents give you responsibilities, but as a young kid, all you got to do is play. So you really were able to get engrossed in gaming a lot more than you can as an adult. Now, another thing that makes gaming different now that Mark and Lawn Boys post 1975 kind of skipped over, maybe because they're a little bit older than me, is that if you're my age, like late 20s, mid 20s to early 30s, if you're in my age bracket, I should say, gaming was very exciting during that time. I mean, think about it. When you went from the Atari 2600 to the NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System, it was a huge leap. Everything was so much better on the NES. When you went from the NES to the Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo, huge leap. When you went from the 16-bit era to PlayStation and N64, I was a little bit older then. That excitement faded a little bit by that point, or a good amount, I should say. But it was still a huge leap when you went from, the Super Nintendo to the PlayStation and N64, like I just said. It was still substantial. Like, everything was growing exponentially. It was just huge, dramatic technological leaps with each generation. Now I'm going to tell you another story about me being a kid. It was 1990, and I had a Game Boy and an NES, and Genesis pretty much just came out in the States. And my dad had a friend named George, and we went over to his condo one day because his friend George, my dad's friend George, wanted a hard drive for his computer, and he needed a big hard drive for his 286. You want to know what big was? 100 megabytes. Alright guys, before the video starts, two things real quick. Sawyer,
Zach, let him in.
and this one who could translate a 30-second English script to Japanese, and I also need a Japanese narrator for the video I'm looking to do. That was not gigabytes, 100 megabytes. Hey, back in the 90s, or 90 I should say, 1990, that was huge. And he had a Sega Genesis, and he's like, "Hey Rich," George said to me, because I went to his condo too. He's like, "Hey man, I want to show you the Sega Genesis." I'm like, "Oh," like I was excited. Jesus, I was 9, maybe going on 10. I was like, "Hell yeah, I want to see it." So he showed me Revenge of Shinobi, and this is the first thing I saw. Mind blown. Imagine going from the NES and then seeing that intro, that photorealistic, for its time anyway, intro. I was like, oh my god, I need a Sega Genesis. And he's like, "Yeah, well, the Sega Genesis is yours because I'm trading the Sega Genesis for your dad's 100 megabyte hard drive." I was like, I didn't even know what to do. I could not get home fast enough. Now, if I was 30 and saw that, if I was 30 back in 90 and first saw that Revenge of Shinobi intro, would I have had that huge adrenaline rush? Went to sit down and game for an hour or two? Fast enough. Now, if I was 30 and saw that, if I was 30 back in 90 and first saw that Revenge of Shinobi intro, would I have had that huge adrenaline rush? No, I would be an adult, and like I said, your perspective on things change, and you don't get that uber euphoric, idiotic, childlike excitement. But it would have been cooler, like. Now, because we've seen technology with gaming has kind of peaked, it seems, at the moment anyway. When something new comes out, it's like, oh, wow, there's more shadows, or, oh, look, they have God rays, or, oh, there's tessellation on those bricks on the wall. Like, it's not those huge, like, you could be, legally blind and see the differences like back then. And when you went from even the Sega Genesis to the SNES, some of the games like Super Castlevania 4 with all the Mode 7 effects, the Genesis couldn't do that, at least at the time, until they, figured out some programming tricks. It was like, whoa, spinning rooms, this is crazy. Now we don't have that. I think that's part of it too. Beyond being an adult and having your world expand and grow, gaming, not stale. Well, yeah, it has grown a little stale. And we've seen so much. I mean, I still love gaming, and I'm still very passionate about it, but I miss seeing those huge leaps in technology that were so obvious and hit you in the face. That was exciting. And I think if we were adults back then, that would have added to our enthusiasm about gaming to see so many changes happening so fast. Hope I explained that right. Now, as you become an adult, is it possible to get that euphoric, childlike experience back when it comes to gaming? No, I don't even think it really has to do with gaming. I just think it has to do with being a child. You experience things differently. Things are more exciting. They're new and fresh. You're a child. The world is new to you. And anything would have been, if say gaming didn't exist when we were kids, something else would have been that exciting and given us that euphoria. You just grow up and your world expands, and how you react to things just differs. I accept gaming as a form of entertainment now, just like music, just like movies. It's something that when I have downtime, that's how I spend my time. When I have a free moment to sit down and game for an hour or two, that's how I choose to entertain myself. And that's what gaming is. It's now a form of entertainment. And the difference was when you were a kid, it was like kind of like games were, as Mark said, magical. You would get sucked into that world. Like even crappy games like, God, Athena from the NES, that game was ass. But I played the hell out of Athena because as a kid, your imagination compensates for the crappy graphics repetitive gameplay, horrible music. You just, your imagination takes over and you get sucked into the game. And that's just the part that